Hello, this is John Crow from TDI Technology Support, and welcome to the ConsoleWorks ITFM Suite instructional video series again. Today, I want to talk about something called the bindings list. You may be wondering, what is this bindings list I see in ConsoleWorks now that I've upgraded to 5.0-0U0? You may have heard us talking about the new bind list as of version 5.0U0, or you may have seen it in the product after you've already upgraded. I thought I'd talk about this to help you understand what this new feature is about. You find the bind list under Admin, Server Management, Bind List. And what it is something that came about because one of our customers, a utilities customer, needed to use a new connector type called the port forward backend connector. That allows them to use an existing GUI type of connection tool to talk to some of their equipment. It's kind of non-standard, so not many of our users outside of the utilities business would ever use that particular connector. At upgrade, ConsoleWorks converts the old admin server management configuration web server address and web server port fields to the new bind address and ports. If, for example, you already have a syslog and SNMP consoles, then you'll see bind names for, of course, default web. That's the one that you log into with. But you'll also see the def syslog 514, SNMP 01_162. And as always, if your server previously had the 0.0.0 for the web server address, then that too is carried over. And again, what that means is your ConsoleWorks host will listen for ConsoleWorks traffic on all installed network interface drivers. If, on the other hand, you had one of your NIC's IP addresses in the web server address field, then that will be carried over to the converted bindings. And the same for the port that you've chosen for ConsoleWorks to listen on. For example, our default web uses port 80 for the default web server address because it's our demo system and it's out on the web, and it's a little bit easier to hit than having to remember a specific port. We also have alt web 0001. That's our SSL port binding. And as I mentioned, this def syslog 514 and SNMP 01_162 for syslog and SNMP trap receivers, respectively. As you can see, SNMP trap server is the service for this particular one. That's the service there. If you wanted to create a console that we were talking about for that back-end port forwarding, I can kind of show you what that looks like. You would do something like this, by the way, if you wanted to create a new binding before you create your consoles so the binding is available. So you would say TCP, and there's the port forward, pre-selected because that's the only service you would have. So that's kind of it in a nutshell. It's not a big deal. I just thought if maybe y'all had questions about it, you could come to the video series and see if we were talking about it, and we are. I want to thank you for your time. Didn't take a lot, and we'll talk again soon. Thanks again.